as fast as laps.
He's got to be happy with that. Now, although it could be one of those cases where it's a race that could have been, because I think he did have a car to win this race.
This is a kind of race where I look forward to the cars pulling onto pit road and seeing how the drivers interact afterwards. Because so much, every race car requires a lot of work before you go to the track, whether it's maintenance, upkeep, whatever the case may be.
Guy Desjardins there in the 21 coming home in fourth. Carry on.
But these cars, I mean, these are obviously their pride and joy. There must be some sort of form of community going to these races.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I don't know who usually wins. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't. We see them once a year here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, and that's pretty much about it for this class and these types of vehicles. So it's interesting for us because it's all brand new. You're not going to say, well, that guy's going to probably go out and dominate. You see a couple of the cars parked along pit lane that had some earlier troubles, mechanical difficulties.
Popular among the pit crews. A lot of thumbs up and congratulations and applause as we look around the venue. This is first come, first serve seating. Those are people that were up before I was, Dave.
Most people were up before you were on this day. As Olivier Dupont is going to hop out. Look at the smile on his face.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what it's all about. You got to go to the podium. And he's like, what? The podium?
You don't have to take your helmet and your gloves, but he's going to.
I don't know if he knows what's going on, but there's the top 10 finishers. Dupont, Dupuis, and Retta, the top 3. Then Benoit Laflamme in the 70. Guy Desjardins in the 21. Paul Bissonnette in the 79. Jean-René Trepanier in the 33. Simon Tomlinson in the 68.
Yeah,
They've got it a little bit backwards. It's from Oakville. He's the only Ontario driver in the field. And then Eric Lafrancois and Michel Cosmano in the 72. That rounds out the top 10 in this field. Up next will be the FEL Emzone Radical Cup Canada, presented by Michelin.
Having a look at the replay from the drop of the green after one aborted start on lap number 1. Successful start on the second attempt. Francois Retta out in front. There was the pass for the lead.
Cut very, very close to that tire wall on corner exit, and there was the pass that almost happened, but then ended up in the wall for the 172, and that sent him back. Do you see that? The car actually stalled. He had to refire and get going again.
Yeah, you can see. I noticed it at the time. He was trying to get it refired, then finally did, and that's what cost him most of that gap.
Mirror was hanging down, and Olivier Dupont, but he didn't need it much of this race. There was nobody behind him for the last few laps of that one. A good, solid drive for the driver of the Ford Mustang here in the CVQ, the Course Vintage Quebec, the group here at Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières.
Yes, sir.
Well-deserved drink of water and a big smile. That's what it's all about here. Racing at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. For Adam Ross, I'm Dave Bradley. Thanks very much for joining us for the CVQ race. Up next will be the Emzone Radical Cup Canada, presented by Michelin.
Félicitations, bravo. Félicitations. Félicitations.
Troisième, bravo. Bien battu. Monte, allez à toi.
Hello and welcome to the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivieres. We get set to bring you the Emzone Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me in the booth is Daniel Zippy Salmon. And what a historic venue and what a field of race cars we have to do battle here today in the FEL Emzone Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin. Clinton Jeffrey will also be joining us on the podium for the Victory Miss celebration moment. And what makes this race interesting, we qualified on times, we have one race in the books, and what they've done now is they invert the top 6 for the starting order of this one. That puts the 2 of Alana Carter on pole.
Yeah, certainly. I think they do it off fastest lap time as well, so certainly looking forward to that. But right now, in the point standings, even after the result yesterday, Brady Clapham currently leading the charge in pro with 180 points. Alex Tagliani there in second with 138, and Antoine Seneschal there in third with 107. Take a look at the masses, though. Public enemy number 1 himself, Mr. Robert Burgess, driver of the number 1, is currently clear and with 180 points. Cedric O'Hayen is 151 points there. He's been absolutely on fire this weekend in the 44 with Daniel Earl there in third.
I should say the lineup, Jessie Lambert will start on pole alongside Alana Carter. She'll start to the outside of the front row. Parker Gale will line up in the 3rd spot. Then it's Timothy Pernod in the 51. Brady Clapham and Alex Tagliani. Couple of drivers that race officials will be watching. They have a history so far in 2026. And they're starting a little bit deeper in the field in 5th and 6th. They finished 1st and 2nd in race number 1. But yeah, they want to limit the aggression from those 2 drivers, as we've seen a little bit of it escalating in previous races. But keep in mind, we have another street race to get to next weekend at Markham. So that's what they've said. They said you can race hard, but do not hit each other. So penalties will be handed out if, in fact, the aggression level gets pretty high. Antoine Seneschal and Sidney Castles will line up in 7th and 8th, and it's Thomas Miller and Cedric O'Hayen, Chris Stiles and Robert Burgess, Chase Pelletier and Stephen Wastuma. And there you see the 99. Then it's John Painter and the 23 of Denny LaRue. And John Benuelit in the 93 will tag on Amish Miller is towards the back, so I think he made some changes, and you have a story on that.
Yeah, he actually ended up using his spare car, had an issue with one of the parts, but as a result, though, the old car was actually able to get 2 other cars on the grid, so it worked out very well overall for all competitors.
Absolutely. As you see, the pace car has pulled down pit lane, and now it is Alana Carter alongside Jesse Lambert. Lambert is the control car as the green flag waves, and we're underway here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières.
Well, you can already see Alex Tagliani and Brady Clapham starting to duke it out as they make it into 8 into turn 1. Look like a lock up there from Robert Burgess in the number 1.
Lambert loves these inversions. Oh, Carter got into Tagliani, and a half spin. Did she hang on to it? No, she didn't. Timothy Pernod up against the wall.
That is definitely not what they had in mind. You can see there, Alana Carter. There is plumes of smoke coming from that left front wheel. Can she limp that car around a pit lane? The field is starting to really get into single file. Steven Mastuba still walking up the brakes today.
See some damage to the 77 of Brady Clapham, the accordion effect of everybody getting together. Alana Carter just slid out wide, and Tagliani was there, and that's what started things off. There's Wastuba and Chris Stiles, who had a great battle yesterday here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, and they resumed that battle just ahead of them, Cedric O'Hayan. So that's for top spot in the Masters class.
It looks like the number 2 car of Alana Carter is going to try and get that cleared off of the track. There's sufficient hit to the left front corner.
So Timothy Pernod, also involved in that, has fallen down the running order. Now we do have a full course caution, and I believe it's for the paused number 2 of Alana Carter. So it's the damage, it's bodywork damage, and is the back wheel crooked? That's the big question. No, not really.
Yeah, it looks good from what I can see there, Dave. Definitely a little bit of fiberglass is going to need to be repaired, though.
Now, she's not new. She knows the feeling of a race car, and she knows if it's not right, she's not going to keep racing it. But there you can see Clapham.
Look at Burgess.
Oh, dives it way in. So there was contact. Stephen Wastuba went way wide in turn number 1. Chris Stiles slips through. Here's what happened. Oh, and she did catch the wall pretty hard with the left front. Timothy Pernod sandwiched in the inside, so he tried to sneak through as she was spinning. Thought the lane was open, and it was, until it wasn't.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of action here at the start of the final race for the Emzone Radical Cup Canada here at Trois-Rivieres.
And if you've never seen the Emzone Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin, these cars, there's Timothy Pernod able to continue on. So that's good news for the young driver in the Tooth Autosport number 51. But all of these cars are powered by a 1340cc motorcycle engine, essentially derived out of a Hayabusa motorcycle. They do 0 to 100 in about 3.1 seconds, top speed of 226, or excuse me, over 230 kilometers an hour, about 226 horsepower. They will not reach their top speed here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières just because of the shorter straightaways. A place like Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, where you're able to stretch your legs down the Andretti straightaway, that's where you'll see some of the top speeds hit. But they're fun cars to drive. They're light, they're nimble, and that's what makes them so exciting here at a place like the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières.
Certainly, we've had drivers come in from other series as well, and they get into this car, and honestly, it feels like they can just put it wherever they need to. It's got so much, it's set up to handle. As you see, the safety car is already coming in. Jesse Lambert is going to be leading us away. Now, he started on pole before, but now he's got to try and hold on for another 36 minutes of this race at Grand Prix Trois-Rivieres.
What about the rookies? Jesse Lambert and Parker Gill, 1 and 2, with a wily veteran and Alex Tagliani just in behind. The green flag is back up, a quick caution, and we're back underway.
We can already see Brady Clapham trying to make a move here on the inside. He's gone to the outside now, side by side there with Tagliani. Parker Gill ahead, Jesse Lambert, and that's incredibly tight. A little bit of contact, perhaps. These guys are absolutely duking it out. Space being left, though, but will 2 go for the arch? Tagliani looks to make the inside, locks up.
Oh, he tried to make room in a 3. He does open the gap a little bit. They'll drag race down Boulevard du Carmel.
Well, I have a feeling there's going to be a few people with their hearts in their mouths right now as Brady Clapham and Alex Tagliani are still going at it. The 63 there looking to get in the mix as well. As you see in the background, Cedric O'Hayan trying to make the move ahead of Sydney Castles.
Single file through turn number 6, and most importantly, everybody makes it through unscathed. But wow, what a battle there between Alex Tagliani and Brady Clapham. Clapham, your points leader in this class. Tagliani has a win already under his belt here are the Radicals at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, but that gave the two leaders a little bit of an opportunity to get away.
I do have to wonder just how well can Jesse Lambert defend it. Is he going to be focused on the defense, or is he going to be able to go, you know what, we are running under the same tent. Can Parker just give me a few laps to try and hold off Tagliani? I have a feeling there's going to be no team orders here. It's going to be an all-out grudge.
Number 95 in race number 1. The team checked it over. Most famous turn here at the Grand Prix of Trois-Rivieres.
Well, certainly I'm loving the back handle. As you can see that tag, he's getting the itch. He wants to be further up in the podium.
Ooh, Clapham hit that apex bump, and it just went into a four-wheel slide to the outside, nearly caught the concrete, but he gathers it back up, does lose a little bit of ground to Alex Tagliani, who's stuck in behind Parker Gill. Now, I think Tagliani's going to wait just a little bit and wait for that hole to open up. He knows he's quicker.
I have a feeling that the drivers may have forgotten a little speech during the driver briefing when the green flag went to this race.
Drivers don't do that. They don't forget about increased aggression.
At this point, if you got the crew chief on the radio being like, look, we have another race at Markham this weekend. Please don't break the car. I think the mute button may have been engaged, because from what I'm seeing, it is an all-out grudge match here in Trois-Rivieres.
Puff and tire smoke out of the 15 to Parker Gill as he tries to hold off the 8 of Alex Tagliani. Jesse Lambert has to be the biggest fan of the inverted starts. He benefited in the first time it was used at Calabogie, finishing on the podium, and now he leads in the early going here, but there's still a lot of time left. We're over 30 minutes left to be completed here in the Emzone Radical Cup Canada, presented by Michelin.
Well, let's give the 95 a little bit of slack here, because certainly in terms of preparation, I can't think of a driver in this field who's done more. He's there in the sim, not just for half an hour, but like 3 hours a night. As soon as he finished at Calabogie, he was there and he was at it. So he's put the work in, Dave. He's definitely put the work in, but can he get the result? That's the question we're going to have to wait and see.
Think about driving in a sim and driving here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières is it can get you close, an idea of where the braking points are, but you don't feel all the big bumps and the humps, and it just the punishment it puts on your body in the cockpit of these race cars, and you sort of get that trial by fire in the early practice sessions and then the early races. And then you have those daunting concrete walls. You can't just hit a reset button.
I don't think you could have fit a St. Hugh air wrapper in the gap between the wheel and that concrete wall there.
Let's give a shout out to Antoine Seneschal. It's been a four-car battle at the front as Tagliani takes a look underneath Parker Gill, turn number 6, one of the best passing opportunities of this 11-turn circuit, and he takes it. Parker Gill, though, found the hole in behind the 8, so rather than losing several positions, he drops back and still is in front of the 77 of Brady Clapham.
I'm certainly loving the competition we got here. Definitely a little bit more spicy than we had yesterday. It's Tagliani looking to go and make his way up to the front of the pack. That puts Jesse Lambert on the outside around Ryan Bender, and now he's going to go toe-to-toe with karting teammate, well, previous karting teammate, Parker Gill. And already Parker going there on the defensive as they make their way down towards turn 1.
Heads-up move by Parker Gill. That was exactly what he needed to do, and knowing that he could hold it on the outside of turn number 10 is big. He had a nose in front, and now the 77 of Brady Clapham. Lower momentum out of the 95 of Jesse Lambert from that pass that goes all the way back to turn number 9. It affected him going into turn number 1.
Yeah, certainly if you lose a little bit of momentum, it can be absolutely monumental in terms of track position. But Antoine Seneschal is there. He's lurking. And not only that, your Masters class leader, driver of the 44, he's put in a lot of practice as well, having some coaching with Racine Fazui, who is an absolute animal in the sim, and he's like 8,000 plus I rating, which for reference is pretty damn high. He's up there, and it's certainly fair to say he's paid off, currently leading the Masters by about 2.8 seconds over the Viking himself, Stephen Mastuba. Chris Stiles, though, just been able to get in the third.
Yeah, and actually this has been a great weekend for Cedric Ohayon. He has found the next level in that Masters class. He's been dominant every time on track in the 44 out of the Tag 1 Autosport 10. And once again, doing the same here. 6 overall, mixing it up with some of the pro cars. There you can see the green, yellow, and black, number 44, Cedric Ohayon. Just in behind, you saw that flash of yellow. That's second place in the Masters class, Stephen Mastuba.
Yeah, certainly Mastuba's been pretty aggressive so far this morning. But speaking of aggression, we're going to have to wonder if we're going to see any of that out of the 63 here of Antoine Seneschal. Now, he's definitely got experience in a go-kart. In terms of radicals, I believe this may be his first season going from memory as well. But certainly himself and Jesse Lambert there's going to be some tough competition between the two of the younger drivers on the grid.
Parker Gill still holds on to second. Alex Tagliani leads. Now that he has some clean air, the only driver into the 106s as far as best times go, and he just set that. Parker Gill, a 107.1. Brady Clapham, a 107.2. And all those drivers setting their fastest time on the most current lap, lap number 7. There's Tagliani, a race leader, and the Saint-Hubert Dry Shine, number 8.
Certainly as well, a quick chance, if you are watching and you are here at Trois-Rivieres, please go and check out the FEL merch tent. Certainly keep yourself cool with one of them bucket hats. It's actually located by the FEL trailer. Keep an eye out for Keegan and Mike.
I believe you can get it online too. I think you can go to their online store and pick up some merch. If you're not here at the track and just watching on the stream, as Seneschal takes a look into turn number 2. And Lambert's going to leave the door open now. He gets that momentum on the outside, so he's able to battle back. That's a heads-up move by the 63 of Antoine Seneschal. He could have forced the issue, and he decided not to, and that's wise.
Yeah, that's definitely a wise move. Chris Bly will be very much in approval of that, but now he's got the momentum, he's got the run, he's going to put it there up on the inside. Lambert's seen him coming, and oh, he's gone wide! Seneschal eats the wall. Lambert just have a little bit of a nudge, but
just couldn't get the car stopped, couldn't get it turned. Lambert did get some damage after clipping the back end of Antoine Seneschal, and you can see the body language from Antoine Seneschal as he moves around inside that car. We're still under green, and now the full course caution does come out to slow this field, as they'll have to cart away that number 63. Big damage to the front, a little bit of damage to the back end of that car as well. But we're going to check out Jesse Lambert's number 95 as it comes around to see the damage on his. But here's how it happened.
Well, you can see the move there. He's got the run. He's got the momentum. Lambert, he's left him plenty of space. Looking for a lockup. Not quite. Just carried a little bit more speed than he was ready for. Fair play to Jesse. Able to do what he can to avoid that. Catches the left rear with the right rear of the 95. And it's just a textbook demonstration of understeer. But you know what? Fair play to Lambert. He could have forced that at turn 3 and didn't. So certainly,
well, he did drive him in hard. Like, he didn't leave it and back off early. He was challenging to maintain that position, but Antoine Seneschal just drove it in absolute ton, and in an area of the track that doesn't get driven on a lot of marbles, a lot of dirt down there, and he found out the hard way that the car just did not stick, and into the tire wall it went. I'm concerned about the 95 of Jesse Lambert, because not only did he catch the rear wing, which is a problem, but I think he might have caught the right rear wheel as well. And if he knocks that wheel out of kilter, that's race over. He can continue on with a damaged wing. It'll be a handful, but with a right rear wheel that's out of alignment, essentially, it's going to be race over.
Yeah, well, certainly, at least with the safety car, he can get a little bit of a feel of that, and certainly anybody who's there doing some spotting for him can take a look at that car, try and get a little bit of input, but it does look like Antoine Seneschal is going to be okay. Certainly one of the slower parts of the circuit as well, so if you're going to have a little bit of a nudge, that's not a bad spot to do it. 4-5 rows of tires there, so definitely a little bit of a cushion there should you have an excursion.
This is a good opportunity for the 51 of Timothy Pernot. Remember, he was involved in that opening lap incident and fell right to the back. The 51 Tooth Autosport. Pernot is now up into 7th position overall. It's that lime car just behind Steven Westuba. There he goes into turn number 2. So Pernot has been on a drive after finishing 1st and 2nd at Calabogie Motorsports Park in his first 2 starts in the Emzone Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin. Didn't get the finish he wanted yesterday in race number 1, but poised to do something a little bit better here in race number 2. Good recovery anyway.
Well, certainly it's good to see John Benvelid able to get that car back out there as well. Has been plagued with issues for a lot of the season, Dave. It's certainly good to see he's out there and having some fun again. But you can see there, number 63. I gotta say, props to the tow truck. I mean, that is an awesome bit of gear. I mean, you get a bit of craning, a bit of rigging, you know, it's good fun. The digger, that's fun.
Yeah, it's you don't have to bring out the flatbed for these cars. It's a difficult lift onto a flatbed because of the low ground clearance. So essentially what they'll do is they'll attach the front and rear of this car, lift it directly off the ground, and take it back to the paddock area. And there you can see the rigging happening to get the number 63 of Antoine Seneschal. Let's take you through the top 5 as it runs right now. And the clock continues to tick down. We should mention just over 25 minutes left in this final race for the Emzone Radical Cup Canada, presented by Michelin here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. But we can tell you that Alex Tagliani is leading ahead of the rookie Parker Gill in the 15. Brady Clapham in the 77. He's your points leader coming into this weekend. And then Cedric O'Hayan, who's having a dynamite weekend in the Masters class in the 44. So he leads the Masters. He's 4th on track overall. Jesse Lambert with that damaged rear wing is sitting in 5th spot. Then Stephen Westuba, 2nd in the Masters class. And we should mention Chris Stiles in the 7 is 3rd in the Masters class as well. Whereas we're under a safety car condition, a full course caution.
And a huge thank you to all the marshals and all the track workers and everybody who goes and takes their time and helps us to be able to run this series as well. Certainly, it's definitely, there's a lot more moving parts, you know, even I realise. Don't get me wrong, I've been commentating, I've done a little bit of motorsport myself, but I've never tried to organise a real-life race series, and fair play, I'm going to stay out of that avenue. There's people who've been doing it for years, and there's a lot of moving parts, but you can see there, the car of Antoine Seneschal is going to have to be repaired to live on for another day.
One of those drivers who's going to have to make those repairs in time for the next race, which is just a week away. The Ontario Honda dealers Markham Indy and the FEL Emzone Radical Cup Canada, presented by Michelin, will be part of that race both Saturday and Sunday. And so not a lot of time if you include the travel time back from Trois-Rivieres, Quebec, and then you have to deliver your car into Markham before they start closing area streets down. There's going to be a lot of work happening at both race facilities. Guaranteed they're going to try and work on that car as much as they can tonight to get it put back together, and then limit the work that has to be done in the shop because there's not a lot of time in between.
Well, on the upside, this is where being part of one of the bigger teams is going to be beneficial. Certainly Tag Tag One Motorsport with Cedric O'Hayan, and they got a shop, and I'm sure they're going to be able to get hold of some spares and stuff like that. It does look like it. Primarily, there is definitely cosmetic, okay, but I mean, I've seen incidents before. Certainly saw John Payne have a little bit of an excursion at Calabogie, and speaking to the team, you know, the repairs looked a lot worse than they were. I mean, realistically, a little bit of a corner, mainly bodywork. I mean, these cars do take a hit quite well.
That's the beauty of these cars, too, and that's what race officials and series officials are trying to sell people on as a method of laddering up the motorsport ranks. These are a great car to get into because they are pretty robust. Underneath that bodywork is essentially just a spider frame of rods and connecting tubes that make up all the suspension on each corner. The driver's compartment is very safe, and then everything else is almost made to be sheared off and easily repaired. That's the beauty of these cars.
That is the evolution of engineering in automotive as well. Certainly, it used to be years ago, you'd build a car as strong as possible. Think of like an old Volvo. I'm going to absolutely shout them out for it. You know, you can have a car that's completely written off, crashed into a Volvo, it's got a tank, and in some ways that's good, but now it's more about trying to shed the load and get it away from the occupant. And as you're saying, you have parts that are deliberately designed to fail and absorb that energy should an impact occur.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty beat-up radicals in the time covering this series, and you think, oh man, that's going to require a whole new car. And they're back for the next race on the same weekend, and it's amazing. It's a tribute to some of these teams and how hard they work and how well they know these chassis to put them together as they do. So we continue under this full course caution. The cleanup nearly completed in turn number 6 for the 63 of Antoine Seneschal, who made contact with the tire wall in a battle with the 95 of Jesse Lambert.
Well, one thing I've got to wonder as well is what are we going to see happen and find his way onto the podium? Looking at his pace, he is in the 106s. His best time is actually faster. No, it's not. My apologies. He's in the 107s. I was giving Brady Clapham credit. Brady's always fast.
Down the line, yep.
Sorry, Cedric. We try to pump you up on that. Aggressive all weekend. He's keen. The Viking he's looking to conquer. And I have to wonder here, I mean, look at the wing there of Jesse Lambert. You can see it even clearly in that shot. It is definitely dipped to the right. I wonder if Asuba's going to just see that and just go, you know what, this guy's down on pace and just absolutely send it.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And it'll be up to Jesse Lambert to decide whether or not it's stable enough. The good thing about this track, and we talked about the top speed and of these cars, but it is short enough that aerodynamics, yes, they do play a role. They don't play as significant a role as they would at a place like Calabogie Motorsport Park or Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
But certainly as well, I think Rob Burgess, I mean, it's almost like he felt qualifying was beneath him, speaking to him over the weekend. I mean, he's had a little bit of tinkering to do on the car, keep switching it out every weekend, and he says, well, I said to him, surely you've got a spare car. He goes, well, no, I rented them all, sold them all. I said, well, that's a good thing. It's the best-selling race car in the world. But it's almost got to wonder if we're going to see a little bit more aggression from Burgess here in the number one, as we are getting ready to go green flag conditions here at Trois-Rivieres.
Single file restart. Tagliani will lead him off into turn number one. Timothy Bernot already ducking underneath the 99 of Steven Westuba. And he will get that spot into turn number one. So his next person on his list is the 95 of Jesse Lambert, who continues with that damaged rear wing in the 95.
Certainly he's been able to hold on, which is absolutely fantastic. He's had a taste of the podium, but certainly it's not looking like he's going to get there in the 95. So Alex Tagliani, though, your race leader and the fastest lap of a 106.692.
Into turn number 6, Parker Gill sitting in second spot in that green and white number 15. He's watching his mirrors. That's because they are filled by the GTA Exotics, number 77 of Brady Clapham. Clapham thought about having a look into turn number 8. He won't do it there. Goes to the runoff area, and that might have cost him an opportunity for a pass here in turn number 9.
Yeah, at this point, I think he's just going to keep trying to fill the mirrors there of the number 15. The green machine is going to have to be on the defensive. But fair play, Parker Gill, he's found even more pace this weekend, and he's on the podium. He was feeling confident coming into this.
Yeah, he's no slouch as we hit the halfway mark. So 20 minutes in, 20 minutes to go in the FEL Emzone Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin. But he has been here before in a Formula 1600 car. This is a vastly different beast. More horsepower, a lot more downforce, but at least you know the track.
Well, looks like Brady Clapham is going to take away that second spot from him. Goes up on the inside, running away down the back straight.
Passes in turn number 5, so even before they get to the braking zone, that was set up on the exit of turn number 6. And I've noticed that piece of bodywork that was dangling from the 77 is gone. So either it fell off or it sort of found its way back in line. But Brady Clapham is no longer sort of hanging a parachute out of the back end of that car.
Well, certainly, I mean, I remember we watched him at Motorsport. He was absolutely pluming smoke out of one corner, and I said, how did you keep going? And he's like, well, you just got to assume it's okay. And he just keeps going. The kid's fearless.
Tagliani eases his way through turn number 11, hammers on the gas, and completes yet another lap. That's lap number 15 in the books for the race winner yesterday here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières in the Saint-Hubert dry shine number 8. And now you can see from the drone shot the massive gap that he's built up over the 77 of Brady Clapham. That's good news for Alex Tagliani, because Clapham is not able to turn a lap that is significantly quicker than Alex Tagliani. So track position is huge, because these are two of the fastest drivers. We say that Tagliani just had a heart in his throat moment off of turn number 6.
Yeah, he might have got a bonus toy in that Saint-Hubert meal at that point, but look at the absolute onslaught. That's a little bit of debris there been flown up. And you can see Timothy Bernot tucking in right behind the 95 of Jesse Lambert. You can see there the right rear corner has took a hit, but he's holding on. But Timothy Bernot, he's been quick the entire time he's got in that car. What's he going to have to say about Jesse Lambert? Is he going to be able to find his way up into P number 5?
I think that debris did come off of the 95, because you can see that bodywork sort of dangling at the back end. That's after contact with Antoine Seneschal, trying to avoid an incident in turn number 6, which he mostly did, clip the bodywork, but I think that's the fiberglass parts and pieces that are falling off the 95. There's your leader in the Masters class, Cedric O'Hayan, just going through your screen. So he has a comfortable lead on the 99 of Steve Zinna. Battle 7 of Chris Style, top 3 in the Masters.
Well, absolutely fantastic action so far. I do have to wonder if Tagliani's going to dial it a little bit back there after he had a last lap that was definitely a little bit tense. But certainly at this point as well, with this much experience, does he even get tense, or does he just go, oh, it's sliding, and just corrects it and carries on? I mean,
he's forgotten about it.
Yeah.
One lap to the next, you can't dwell on something like that. especially at this high level of driver that you are. If you're Alex Tagliani, the next lap is a new lap, and let's go and attack that one like it's a brand new start. And Tagliani is doing exactly that. But where that happened in turn number 6 is a very tricky spot. It's a great passing opportunity, but there's a hump that opened up right on the apex, and that's what kicked his car sideways. Here's Pernod and Jesse Lambert. Pernod to the outside in turn number 1, and he'll take that position away.
See, now he's just showing off.
Well, Lambert did all he could to protect the inside, and I think that's that lack of downforce from the sort of cocked rear wing back there that's just not allowing that 95 to perform the way it needs to.
And not just that, you know that the car's got damage, and I mean, that's going to play on your mind. Certainly for Brady Clapham it didn't, but Jesse, I mean, he's just getting into racing at this kind of level, and fair play to him, but he's got Steven Westuber lurking right behind as well. Now, he's definitely been keen. It's his home track. You got to wonder just how hard is Westuber going to fight. Realistically, Cedric O'Hayan is pretty much untouchable for him at this point.
Chris Stiles lurking in behind there, sniffing the draft that's being opened up by the 99 of Steven Westuba in a battle for the podium in the Masters class. But Alex Tagliani has got a pretty healthy lead. See what it is at the stripe as Brady Clapham comes by. It's just about 2 seconds, 1.9 seconds that time by. So Clapham a little bit quicker, but again, it's a couple of tenths, and it's back and forth between these top 2 drivers.
Yeah, it's almost like they're doing a push lap, then a little bit of a cool down lap, just trying to manage the tires as well. Certainly, you get a little bit too much into heat into them, you'll find that they get a little bit greasy, and indeed understeer is often something that can be greeted with that, if not a little bit too keen on the throttle, and oversteer, which is so much more fun as a driver, but definitely a little bit more high risk.
Yeah, the Michelin tires that are underneath each and every one of these Radical race cars, they're very durable, but yes, they do warm up and they get a little bit greasy. You can cool them back down as a driver. You sort of take a lap off and sort of encourage them to stick once again. So there is that that you have to think of as a driver, as Timothy Pernod is thinking of nothing else but to get this position away from Cedric O'Hayan and continue his trek forward. Timothy Pernod 5th overall and will get that spot. Cedric O'Hayan smartly knows that's not a position for him. He leads the Masters class. He doesn't have to fight Timothy Pernod. He opened the door and let him go through.
Yeah, risk versus reward on that one, Dave. But you can see a little bit further back, though, Jesse Lambert is trying to hold on as hard as he possibly can. The 95, it's been wounded, but is it going to be enough to make it down to the finish line?
Well, for Pernod in the Shopify 2th Autosport number 51, his next opportunity for a pass is the 15 to Parker Gill, who is almost 5 seconds further down the road. And as a matter of fact, Parker Gill was a little bit quicker than Timothy Pernod that last time by about half a second. So, with 12 minutes left to go in this race, can Timothy Pernod close that gap and find himself back on the podium?
Well, certainly I was watching a little bit of the 2 for Autosport reels a bit yesterday, and Rowan, you know, he's not a man of many words, but sort of, you know, explaining, you know, how they made a couple of tweaks and stuff like that. And actually one of the few cars that had the dive planes equipped, he's expecting to see a few more of them today. We'll keep an eye out for it now, actually. You see there, Alex Tagliani's car there, no dive planes on the front, but keep an eye out. Next time we see Timothy Pernod, we'll see if we got them equipped.
I did notice that. It's actually on the front end of that car to give him a little bit more front end downforce, and it does seem to be one of the only cars. And as we say that Timothy Pernod not quite much quicker than the 15 to Parker Gill, Timothy Pernod just went quicker than anybody else at any point in this race. So 106.5 compared to your race leader who turned a 107 flat, Alex Tagliani. So that cuts half a second into the gap built up between himself and Parker Gill.
I think this is the part of the race where it's going to be, you know, it's the push stint. He's managed to clear some traffic, and now it's just going to be a all-out fight to the end. Can Timothy Pernod find his way back onto the podium? We saw similar yesterday. You know, he was off it for a while and then able to get there. As you see, Robert Burgess now coming onto your screens.
Now, Robert Burgess is currently 4th in the Masters class. He came into this one leading the points in the Masters Championship in the 1 car. And again, a new to him car, but essentially, once you've driven one Radical, you've driven them all. They're all identical, except for seating position. You have that choice of where you can sit. Some people like to sit in the middle, some people on the right, some people on the left, depending on where in the world you're from. or where you think you're most comfortable. But for Robert Burgess, as far as handling goes, cars are the same.
Yeah, there's not a man on this planet who's driven more laps in a Radical around the Canadian Tire Motorsport than Rob Burgess. We're in the paddock. I mean, he's a nice man, but he is public enemy number one. He is the person that the majority of drivers would like to be. And honestly, you'd think it'd be Tagliani. I mean, he's probably the most prestigious driver here. And don't get me wrong, he's definitely got a few people who they don't share Christmas card lists. They're not going to be having Thanksgiving dinner with each other. But you'd think that would be the go. But no, Rob Burgess has managed to paint a little bit of a target on his back, and indeed on the number one car.
And so Tagliani continues to lead overall. The gap is now 1.7 seconds over the 77 of Brady Clapham. And then Parker Gill is realistically not too much farther behind as he comes across the stripe. So he's about 3 seconds behind the 77 of Brady Clapham. But look here, Timothy Pernot is now under 3 seconds behind the 15 of Parker Gill. That last lap, though, he only was able to gain 0.2 of a second. So it's a lot of numbers being thrown around. What we're saying is that gap remained fairly stable between the 15 and the 51. Into lap traffic come the leaders down.
Well, speaking of lap traffic, Brady Clapham is going to be seen right there. That's almost contact with the 23 of Denny LaRue. Now, why am I mentioning having teammates? Well, Brady Clapham, he's out there. He's running solo. Don't get me wrong, his brother Austin's a pretty cool dude as well. But in terms of the racetrack, he is running solo. I mean, he's got under Radical Canada as well, but there's nobody there to help him. But the 23 of Denny LaRue is also under the Tag 1 Motorsport 10. So I have a feeling there, I mean, it could go either way, but it seemed a little convenient, perhaps, how Tag got away a little bit cleaner.
But Denny LaRue is well off the pace compared to the leaders. He's a rookie, so he may not have been watching his mirrors quite as closely. Brady Clapham did give him a nice solid wave as he was going by, and I'm not sure it was one of those friendly waves. But he made sure to indicate to Denny LaRue that you should probably check your mirrors a little bit more frequently once the leader goes by.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't just me who thought that seemed a little bit touch and go. Certainly, actually, I only realised it. This is, I mean, what we at, number 4 now? Number 3. Number 3.
Weekend number 3.
Weekend number 3.
Yeah.
It only just hit me seeing Brady yesterday. And I've checked with him, he's all right with this. He looks like the younger version of Tom Cruise.
Well, he definitely drives like Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder sometimes, but yeah,
watch that.
He's a fiery driver, and in a lot of cases it pays off for the driver of the 77. He is full attack on a lot of cases, and just an exciting driver to watch in this FEL Emzone Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin. And you know what? I think Denny LaRue lit a fire underneath the driver of the 77 because he is coming. 0.7 of a second, the difference at the front, and now another one of the Tag 1 Autosport cars gets in between the leader and second place.
Yeah, that's Alexandre Moyes. He's been sharing that car there with Jean-Christophe Duchesne. And, I mean, it's great. I mean, they both get to have a drive as well. Didn't go quite as well for Alex yesterday. But Brady Clapham, I don't know what is happening under that helmet, but it's fair to say he is very much motivated, and he can see the Saint Hubert car just ahead of him. Without a doubt, been the best battles we've seen so far all season. A little bit of drama go with it. I understand at the podium they were pretty friendly yesterday. So, I mean, that's great. But I've got to wonder if it's going to be the same result at the end of this race.
6.5 minutes left to go. Brady Clapham is 0.7 of a second behind. He's just laid down the quickest lap of anybody in that 77. But also Timothy Pernot has caught Parker Gill for the final podium position. So battle between the 15 and the 51. A pair of youngsters looking for that final step on the podium. We'll see what happened here. Clapham got held up in turn number 1.
A little bit of lap traffic coming into play there as well, but Timothy Pernot able to clear that car, and he's going to be going back on the attack.
So Clapham getting held up in turn number 2 by the 11 cost him about 0.7 of a second. That's what the gap grew by at the front of the field.
He's not going to be happy about that.
He's not going to be happy. With 5 minutes to go, that's enormous time to try and make up.
Indeed, the Teddies may be leaving the pram.
Watch Parker Gill driving a defensive line. He's not blocking. You have the option as a driver to take away that passing lane. It does affect your overall lap time. But if you want to choose to be defensive, you can do it fully within the rules. And Looks like he is doing it right now to try and keep the 51 to Timothy Pernod behind him, but can he hang on for the next 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be and that's with Stuber. He's gone around in the number 99.
He was second in the Masters class. He had a dreadful day yesterday after not finishing with a flat tire, and this one is in turn number 6. Battling with Jesse Lambert, he gets into the bumps and braking, and the back end just goes around. There was no contact there with Lambert, and Lambert again had to do some evasive action.
He's going to be a very nervous individual after this race. Like, you could throw him a tennis ball or something, and he's just going to duck and cover at this point. But
Sidney Castles, too. Watch the red car come through. Chris Stiles in the blue one. He avoids. Sidney Castles, whoa, had to do a lot of steering there to avoid Stephen Westuba, as Westuba will fall down the order. So that gives Chris Stiles second in the Masters class. Robert Burgess on the podium now in the 1.
Not only that, Robert Burgess looks like he's having a bit of a battle there with Chase Peltier as well. Good to see Chase get into some racing action as well for the Auto Eclectic team. That's managed there by Mark Boyd. And Steve Sutherland, one of the mechanics there who I have the pleasure of getting to know as well. Clay Morris as well. Wonderful individuals. But right now you see your race leader, the driver of the number 8. Oh, look at this Clapham. Where did he come from?
Something happened to Tag. That is definitely a problem on the 8 car of Alex Tagliani. He wouldn't just stop and let the 77 go by. So either something broke or it was a significant miss. Something is broken on the 8 car. Look at him falling back. Brady Clapham, your new race leader in the 77.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, Clapham's going to be happy to get it, but what on earth happened to Tag? And that is a monumental lockup as he goes into turn 3.
Yeah, there's something up with the suspension on the front end of that car, and that's what you run the risk of that with the rough roads here. Public roadways turned into a racetrack, and it does get a little rough. Yeah, the left.
Oh!
There it goes.
I had a feeling it was a puncture, and I think I may be right. That left front has completely separated. He's going to try and limp it down into the runoff area. No, it's something broken in the steering, in the suspension on the left front. That wheel turned right left, and it was just the left front wheel that turned left. There's the smoke pouring from the left front corner of the Saint-Hubert Dry Shine. Number 8. I'm still going with puncture.
It might be.
Because you're going to get a lot of smoke, and when that tire initially just goes...
But it hooked left so hard, and it didn't look like the right side hooked as much as the left side. As you can see, a couple of drivers we haven't seen much of today. That's John Painter in the 9. He's in a good battle with John Benuelit in the 93. Painter in the Masters class, Benuelit in the Pro class, just ahead of your overall race leader, Brady Clapham. And Clapham with a 7-second gap now on second place, Timothy Pernod. So that battle for the final step of the podium is now second and third on the podium, Pernod and Parker Gill.
Well, certainly that's good news for the driver of the 15 as Brady Clapham is going to be keen to get up and away here. Certainly John Painter, definitely a little bit off the pace this weekend. He is absolutely dynamite so far this season, but certainly here at Trois-Rivieres, he really hasn't, I'm sorry, John, he hasn't met my expectations. We see Brady Clapham making his way by as they make their way down towards the climax of the track.
Yeah, the only driver from Australia is John Painter. You see the Australian flag on the rear wing of that number 9 car as he lets the leader go by and falls back into that battle. Have a look. That tire's still up. Alex Tagliani down in the pit lane. We're just inspecting his car, and it could very well be a tire down, but it looks like it's still holding. It's not down on the rim, that's for sure, as Tagliani is climbing out. His race is done as we continue to watch Brady Clapham go through his final few turns here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. Timothy Pernod, Parker Gill, your top 3. Cedric O'Hayan leads the Masters class. Chris Stiles and Robert Burgess, your top 3 in the Masters class.
Well, certainly you just kind of had a look at that and was like, oh, it's broken. I've got a guy for that, and he'll go and hop in NASCAR Canada next.
Yeah, he's got many things to think about this weekend as Alex Tagliani. He's already tasted the victory miss celebration moments here in the Emzone Radical Cup Canada, winning race number 1, and now it looks like Brady Clapham well on his way to do the same here in race number 2. Again, a comfortable gap and 30 seconds left. Expect to see the white flag this time by one more lap. 11 turns for Brady Clapham. And you can see Timothy Pernod just coming onto the front straightaway as Clapham was crossing the start-finish line. And so That's the gap that Clapham has onto Timothy Pernod. As they go down the back straightaway for the final time. And we watch your overall race leader, Brady Clapham, 5.5 seconds. He did back off a little bit at the stripe. He doesn't have to push. That's the thing. When you're that far in front, you don't have to push. You can see some damage to the front. He did get caught up in that accordion effect in the opening lap. That's not aggressive driving. That's just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But he recovered very well. You see some bodywork dangling on the back end of the 77. Smashed headlight cover in the front end, but it didn't affect his drive today. Fast pace and consistent.
Not only that, a fantastic haul of points from there. Don't wrong, Tagliani able to get it the first time, but this time, the final race for the Radical Cup here at Trois-Rivieres goes to Brady Clapham, driver of the 77.
Coming home in second is going to be the number 51 of Timothy Pernod and the 15 of Parker Gill. That is going to be your top three. And we'll look back into the Masters class. And we know it's Cedric O'Hayan who has taken the top spot in the Masters class, followed home by Chris Stiles in the 7 and Robert Burgess in the 1 will round out the podium finishers in the Masters class as well.
Well, I've got to say, what an absolutely fantastic event, Dave. And I do wish that my local hometown of, well, I say local hometown, my local location, I guess, of Halifax, Nova Scotia, I do wish that they would take a couple of leaps here out of not maple leaves, they're no good, but take a couple of hints here out of Trois-Rivieres. What an absolutely fantastic venue to be at.
Cool show, the top three doing a formation lap as they head back to the paddock area here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, all congratulating each other in the pro class. Clapham in the middle, flanked by second place Timothy Pernod and Parker Gill. Couple of hungry youngsters starting to find their way on the podium a little bit more consistently. Pernod, this is the third time on the podium for him. For Parker Gill, the second time finishing in the top three. And Brady Clapham, we know he's won this before, and he does it again here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be very happy with that result, and I don't blame him. Parker Gill, so much confidence coming into this weekend, and indeed he's been able to demonstrate that. As you can see there, definitely a little bit of damage. As you said, good eye there, Dave. A little bit of damage on the left front corner, a little bit on the right rear, but he's able to bring it home despite that. Brady Clapham, driver of the 77, able to get another win here.
And he will visit with Clinton for the victory missed celebration moment as the winner in the pro class. Let's take you through the top 10 finishers here in the pro class and the Masters class. So Brady Clapham takes the win, followed by Timothy Pernod, Parker Gill in third, and Sidney Castles coming home in fourth spot. That's a great run for the driver of the 3. Jesse Lambert with that damaged rear end hung on to a top 5. Chase Pelletier in the 12 in 6th. Jean Benuelit in the number 93 in 7th spot. And then a couple drivers who had some issues over the course of this race. There is your Masters class winners. And top 10, Cedric O'Hayan, Chris Stiles, Robert Burgess, your top 3. Then Stephen Westuba. Hamish Miller came from right at the back in the 41. He'll finish in 5th. John Painter, Denny LaRue, and Daniel Mongrain will round out the field in the Masters class. But an exciting day here in the FEL Emzone Radical Cup Canada, presented by Michelin. There were some bumps and some bruises and great racing throughout as Tagliani really pushed in the early going. He had a 6th place starting spot, but found his way to the front, and we did have some action. This is what damaged the back end of the 95 of Jesse Lambert.
Certainly, he did everything he could to avoid that. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but definitely able to run away from the incident as well. With Tagliani, he worked so hard. Certainly a little bit of a shame there to have that mechanical failure, but he will be back with vengeance. Brady Clapham, though, had a little bit of a battle there with Parker Gill, but able to put it on the front, on the top step of the podium.
Yeah, and there's the pass for the win. So the problems exposed themselves in turn number 10 for Alex Tagliani. He backed off. The 77 pounced, and Brady Clapham went to the lead. And there's where it all went wrong for Alex Tagliani. Couldn't hold on any further. Did limp it back to the pit area and the 8 car, but his day was essentially done with that puff of smoke heading into turn number 6. But that promoted the 51 to Timothy Pernod and the 15 to Parker Gill. And you can see uncontested to the stripe was the 77 of Brady Clapham.
He is really turning out to be the man to beat here in the series.
So for Clinton Jeffrey, Daniel Zippy Salmon, I'm Dave Bradley. Thanks very much for joining us in the FEL Emzone Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin here at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières.
Like, I was catching the lap traffic in the worst spots.
Oh my God.
In the worst spots.
Every time. Right in the middle of the apex. I'm like, what are we doing? Yes. Yes.
That's me, that's me. Now I got the track record again, so. Day is good. Day is good. Hey, good job coming back through though.
En deuxième.
That wasn't me. You gotta get your...
First?
Second.
Second, over here.
Second, I'm already up. Thank you so much.
Félicitations.